Hello there, and welcome to the new studio setup. And we're going to use that setup today to talk about the NuX B-8 wireless system. Not the most exciting thing in the world, but this one's got some secrets that some others don't. So let's just check it out and see what we think. Okay, guitar wireless systems. They're not the most exciting thing in the world to talk about, I'll admit it. But NuX sent me an email and asked me if I wanted to try one of these out. And at first I said no. And then I noticed that it was also a tuner and a boost pedal as well. And so I figured, it does a lot of things that some of my other stuff doesn't do, so let's check it out. And so that's what we're gonna do. Giving you my honest opinion. They didn't pay me. They did send me this for free. And so use that for what you will, but let's get into it. So who is this aimed at? I would say this is probably aimed at gigging musicians. You could use it at home as well, but some of the functions that it has, like the tuner and the boost built in, and the DI out, which I think is a really cool thing, is really set up, I think, for someone who's gigging, right? Maybe you need to run straight into the house. Now, as is always my thing, I'm the kind of guy where, like, if something is a jack of all trades, does it master anything? Because let's face it, if I want a hammer, I don't also need my hammer to be a telephone, right? I need it to be a good hammer. All right, so let's talk about the most important thing first, which is the wireless. How well does it work? Well, it works pretty well. I haven't had any trouble in my house. Now, here's what I will say. It runs on 2.4 gigahertz band, but now NuX is doing some things where they narrow the band. You can see it in their literature, and it does some smart switching to try to prevent cutouts. And in my house with a bunch of internet-y type things that are running on 2.4, I haven't had much trouble. Now, I will say, if it doesn't work, for some reason it's breaking out and just crapping out on you, it does have an input here that you can put a guitar cable straight in, so you're able to run direct and bypass the wireless without having to tear your board apart. And so if you're in a live setting, that's a really nice have. So now when you go in the settings on the wireless, there is a place where you can try to balance stability with latency. I couldn't tell a ton of difference between them. I mean, your methods and your ear may vary. And so I just turned it all the way up to stable and seemed to work fine. Now, what I will say, the thing that I found that affected the signal the most is where this transmitter is in the whole thing. So like if this transmitter gets between your body and the receiver like a lot, it can kind of cause a little bit of trouble. You'll see here in this part where I'm kind of circling it was going down as I was moving it behind my body. But I think, you know, if you put this thing right on your belt clip it kind of where on your side to where your hip is, I think you'll probably be okay. But again, you're gonna have to experiment with it. I will say, I've just been using this around here, one guy, and I haven't had any trouble. Now, I do see some things on the internet where some people have trouble with it cutting out. I haven't had that, but I would recommend if you get one, try to get it out and into the places you're going to play as soon as possible so you can see what sort of interference you have before that return policy expires, right? I'll be honest, like that's what I would do. Like if I wanted one of these and I'm at a rehearsal space or I have a gig I do all the time, I would buy it and try it as soon as possible to see what I get, you know, because every situation is different. That's my honest opinion. All right, let's talk about the transmitter. Nice and light, sturdy enough. It's got a good clip for putting it on your strap or on your belt perhaps. Now what I'm not a big fan of, but I think they probably did it to save on space, is they used a 1/4 inch jack for the transmitter. Now I will say the nice thing is they did it where it has a screw on to screw it on there so it stays on tight. So that's nice. Now you would probably have to get a couple more 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch jack adapters, and they usually don't come with a screw on, but it's a really nice to keep it from popping out. It's got this thing called cable tone, which is a thing they're doing. I'm assuming it just rolls some high end off to make it sound like you have a cable, but you can adjust that with EQ. You don't need a cable tone thing, or maybe you do, I don't know, whatever. So now, honestly, one of the slickest, kind of coolest things that I saw, and I was like, man, I would totally use that on a gig, is you can charge this by just clicking it on top of the pedal. Now, how cool is that? Now, it also has a USB-C where you could charge it, but just being able to stick it on there is really awesome. All right, and so there's the nail driving part of the hammer. Now let's go on to the telephone parts of the hammer. I don't know, whatever. All right, and so it's got a tuner on it. How good is the tuner? Good, it tunes your guitar. Thumbs up. The screen's super easy to read. Worked quickly, super easy. Thumbs up. And then now it also has a built-in boost, which I've never seen on something like this. And honestly, I feel like tuners should have a built-in boost going forward. It'll just save you some spots on your board, especially if you're going a small thing. But the boost is powerful. It works really well. So yeah, boosts are boost. So what else you want to know? It boosts. And so one more thing I think about with this that you probably wouldn't really think about normally, especially if you're even getting a bigger board, is this is kind of your all the way in and all the way out one-stop shop on your board. So, you know, you have your signal coming in from your guitar, either wireless or with a cable. You can run a loop for all your effects and pedals, and then you can come out here either as a 1/4 inch or a DI. So it's almost like you have a buffered in and a buffered out if you want, and you can just put the rest of your board on a loop, which I think is kind of cool. I mean, I think the DI is really cool because if you're running amp sims, yeah, you can just run straight front of house and go, here you go, here's the cable. The one thing I worry about this is honestly is the connectivity of the wireless. And at the end of the day, how good does a hammer drive a nail? I do wish it did more than just 2.4. Like I said, around the house, haven't had trouble, but you know, your methods may vary depending on where you're playing. So think about that before you buy it. Honestly, it's just a hub for a pedal board where you can just loop everything and get everything buffered in and out is a pretty good idea for a pedal. Someone get on that, NuX get on that, or anyone else, I don't know. I would probably check out one of those. So there you go, that's the B8. It does a whole bunches of things. So thanks again to everyone who's liked and subscribed. If you haven't, do it if you want. I don't know, you got things to do, I got things to do. Appreciate it, y'all, and we'll catch you on the next one. Or, oh, maybe click on one of, no, wait, they're over here. Click on one of these. Try one of these out. All right, later, y'all.